Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Stop that. Stop that. Freaks me out, it freaks them out too. We're back in the war room, as you guys can see. It's been a while since you've been in my place, hasn't it?
Yeah. But you're always going to the city, so
It's true.
you pass by here, so it's...
But how you doing, man? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm great, yeah.
You know what I notice?
Yeah.
Every time we shoot this video,
Yeah.
we always shoot your video first.
Right.
And we forget to do a wristwatch check.
Oh, of course, because we've already done it.
We've already done it, and then everybody complains in my comment section about how we forgot to do the wristwatch check.
Right, okay.
So why don't you start?
Okay, well, I'm wearing the pinky.
Yes, the pinky.
The pinky. Little Tudor Submariner, mid-size, with a salmon pink dial. And, latest acquisition. Very, very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece, man.
Thank
Don't
you.
take it off the bracelet. I love NATO's too, but that belongs on that bracelet.
No, I agree. I think very few bracelets take my my wrist time. But
do you like that more than the Rolex Jubilee?
I kind of do.
Design-wise, I prefer the Jubilee, but
Yes.
that's made better.
Yes, it has the little screws. Yeah,
It's just a better... Way to go, Tudor.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tudor.
Yeah, and this was a while ago too. So.
Yeah, what year roughly?
To be honest, I don't even know. I haven't even.
But 90s, right?
Yeah. What about you?
Well, it's so weird because we just did this.
Yeah, we just.
I'm wearing the Build Your Own watch I got from Rick. If you guys don't know about that, check out. God.
It would have gone out.
Check out my last video.
Yeah, his last video, which he hasn't posted yet.
Which I haven't technically posted yet. It's a nice little project that a friend of mine put together, and it's a lot of fun. But today's video.
Yes.
I figured, we're always so positive that I wanted to talk about a few things that kind of piss us off.
Okay. Fine.
And so I came up, we love list formats. They're easy to film. Our viewers like them.
Yeah.
What are our three biggest, NYPD baby, what are our three biggest pet peeves that watch manufacturers, seem to always do?
Right.
And I figured I can come up with three, you can come up with three.
Right.
And I'd love to know what the audience or the viewers has to say about it as well.
Yeah, that is a good one, yeah.
So do you want to start or shall I?
Why don't you start? It's your video.
Alright, the first thing that annoys the living hell out of me is when you buy an expensive watch. And when I say expensive, I mean anything over $2,000.
Okay.
And the bracelet, it's time to size it, and they use pins instead of screws.
How fitting, yeah. Yes.
Longines is guilty of it. Patek Philippe, the Nautilus uses pins. Can you believe that?
Even the new ones?
Yeah, I mean, the new 40th anniversary, I'm not sure, but a $29,000 Nautilus uses pins.
Wow, I'm quite shocked at that.
And,
you're spending that kind of money. You don't...
It's just pins, you need to hammer them out.
Yeah.
And...
It's not very sophisticated for a
It's
tech,
not sophisticated. The pins tend to bend. They're never the same. Like, if you need to put a link back in, you usually have to buy a new pin. It's not easy. You usually have to bring it to a watchmaker.
So my little Tudor here has better links than a Patek Nautilus.
It has better ways to attach the links.
Right.
I don't know if the links are actually better.
Yeah.
But come on, guys. We're spending this much money. Put some screws in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked at that. That's not...
It's really shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it is shocking.
Yeah.
Then again, I also hate when, like Eterna uses double screws. So you...
Oh, yeah.
And that's almost worse, but it's not common. So, But we'll stick that as one pet peeve. But single screwed links, that's all I want. Yeah. Enough pins.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, that kind of leads on to the first thought I had.
What's that?
Because it's kind of bracelet related, is when companies do lug width in unusual size, like 21 millimeters, or 19 millimeters. Like look, do 20, do 22, or do 18. you know, you can never get the straps you like.
Absolutely.
And then you have, like, my little flighty, God bless my little flighty, it's a 21mm lug width, and it's just...
I mean, you can find them,
Yeah.
but the selection is nowhere near as large.
Exactly. And, you know, leather bands, they don't look... doesn't have that elegant fit. NATO's is not too bad because you can do the
but
James
guys,
Bond.
always go with the large. You know, if you have a 21 millimeter, if you have a 21mm lug, use a 22 strap, not a 20.
Are we talking leather?
Yeah, it's always better to squeeze it in a little bit.
I've even snipped a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't want the extra wiggling room.
Right.
That's messed up. But I feel you, man.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Why do they do that?
Well, you know, here's another thing. Have you noticed Swiss watches, or sorry, not Swiss, more expensive watches, like $1,000 Hamilton, will have a 20mm lug, but the same case size and a $300 Seiko will have a 22mm lug. Like, have you noticed cheaper watches tend to have bigger lugs? I don't know if there's a correlation.
That is true. That is true.
But I've kind of noticed that.
Yeah, you would thought it would be smaller because it would save on.
But at least it's 22 or 20, not
21. Yeah.
But there are a few companies that do 21.
Yeah, like that was my biggest issue with the first Omega in Space. It was 19, and
oh my god,
that is very irritating.
It's irritating. I mean, I remember when I used to work at Wimpy, we'd have bands for every brand, and then we'd have generic brands made by Camille Fournet. 'Cause somebody might walk in with an Omega. Wimpy didn't sell Omega, but we want to sell them a band if we have it. And they stocked 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, all the way up to 25. But every time somebody asked for a 19, you'd open up the drawer and it's like black or brown.
Right.
You know, somebody asked for a 20, it's like black, brown, green, taupe, alligator, lizard, cloth, Yeah. So it's I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I think KDP was complaining about that same thing when we met.
Right, yes, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Oh man. Number 2 for me, and this is another shocking one. Actually, this is not a Patek hate video. I just realized I was going to use another example.
Okay.
I love Patek Philippe. They just do two things that piss me off.
Right.
Expensive watches.
Okay.
That don't hack.
Oh,
this is getting extremely rare.
Right, yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, a ton more examples.
Yeah.
Did you know a Patek Philippe Calatrava? Once again, I love Patek. This is just a bad example. I'm using 2 Patek examples.
Right.
The automatic movement and even the manual movement, they don't hack.
Really?
They manually wind. They don't hack. They don't have and the date change is progressive.
Thing is,
so it doesn't snap right at 12.
Thing is, if you're rich enough to have one, like being precisely on time doesn't really matter that much.
I'm sure that's what the Stern family wants.
No, I'm joking, but that is a bit
right.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit.
It's a great movement. It's finished very well. It's extremely accurate. 1,000 great things, but it's antiquated. No hacking and a progressive date change.
You see, when you said that, I was thinking of that old Amiga Seamaster, the 60s one I reviewed.
Yeah.
That was not Costco. What is it called? Watchco.
Watchco.
That didn't hack, and that's excusable because it's from that era.
Yes.
You know, from that movement of that era. But a modern, I just.
Well, here's the thing. It's such an antiquated. Non-hacking is because movement architecture is antiquated. So you won't find too many expensive non-hacking movements because all EDAs hack. People that are developing new movements, they hack. It's just Patek still uses this old school movement that they haven't changed, and it's non-hacking. And it drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
You know, and also sometimes Zenith, when they use some new old stock movements, they'll be like, oh, we found this old movement and we'll put it in a new case. And that's seriously cool. I love stuff like that. They don't hack. It's it drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Right, let's think of my next one. It's an obvious one.
Let's see this.
Watch size.
Okay, yeah, that's... Why don't you, instead of watch size, why don't you say your biggest pet peeve is wrist size?
Yeah, but that's but you're right. But if we look at watches in the mid-century, they were smaller. I think smaller watches, and obviously, I'm biased because I have smaller wrists, right? But when a man, regardless of the size of wrist, wears something a little bit smaller, to me, I think it's more elegant. It's less clumsy.
I agree with you because I'm a much larger gentleman than you are.
Right.
And I mean, I wouldn't wear a 34. You've got a couple 34 pieces, right?
Yeah.
But I own a 36.
Yeah.
I own 2 of them.
Yeah.
I personally love 40 and 42. I think 42 is a little big for you.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think they've gone crazy.
And I think we're a prime example of the size should be relative. Like your 42 is my 40. Your 40 is my 36 or whatever.
But 50 doesn't look good on anybody.
Exactly. That's what I'm. Yeah. So you know? I just don't understand, and I think it is changing. But it's like any fashion or trend. It takes a while to kind of permeate outwards to the...
See, I agree with you, but there's a couple things I want to point out.
Right.
The fact that a Panerai 44 is okay with me.
Yeah, no, but I'm not... Certain brands, like the Breitling Navitimer, like the Panerais, I'm not talking about them because their size is part of their design, it's part of their heritage.
When Piaget comes out with a 43mm dress watch.
Exactly.
That I'm like...
exactly. Like the little Seiko I reviewed here. I just don't understand a watch, and we disagree about this.
I do think it's a little thick, but I just love the watch.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful watch, but they're commemorating... this is a special occasion. This is a moment of their history, and they commemorated it with something that I felt was a little clumsy, a little...
Execution wasn't there, huh?
Yeah, and it could have been so special, you know, and I think it's 40mm, but wears even larger because it's just so chunky, and that it's big lug to lug, you know.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, I totally get that.
But then again, we have the Squalimatic here. This is supposed to be big.
It makes sense,
yeah.
Right? The size makes sense.
Exactly.
It's for a form fits function.
Exactly.
Or
so I'm not
function follows form. One of those.
Yeah. I'm not mad at the Squalimatic because it's serving a purpose. It's doing its job. I'm mad at the dress watch that's too big. That are
just following the trend.
Exactly. Yeah.
So number 3.
All right.
This is one that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And it's being heavily corrected in the past 10 years.
Okay.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
And that is the lack of micro extensions.
Right.
On bracelets.
That's a good one. That's a really
like
good
no
one.
one needs a diver's extension.
No.
Okay, but a micro extension. You were doing a video on the Yachtmaster.
Right.
And you were curious about that little extension.
Yeah.
I forgot. We haven't talked since then.
Right.
But that's actually a 3mm extension.
Okay.
That's used so people can wear their watch in summer and in winter without having to add a link. Because 3mm is the perfect size.
You know what's crazy?
swelling.
I had that extension in the ceramic GMT and the modern Datejust, I think, and I never knew it was there.
That's kind of messed up.
I know, and I never knew. This was before I had a channel. I was into watches, but I never, I had it fitted, and that was it. I never knew it was in the cloud. It's so subtle.
3mm.
Yeah.
Or if you want a diver's extension, do it Rolex glide lock style, where you can. But like, I don't want to have to take a screwdriver and shift my pin because I'm at the beach, and then guess what? It's a little chilly tonight. I got to shift the pin back.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah.
It was such a stupid design that lasted for so long.
That glide lock on the Submariner, it's just...
And by the way, let's thank Glasuta for inventing it. Glasuta original.
Or thank Rolex for stealing it.
Yeah, well, Rolex popularized it. But Glasuta, German engineering. Right, of course. Good job.
Of course. Should I say the Germans?
The Germans.
Yes, thank you guys. Yeah. So
that's mine. It drives me nuts.
Right, I've got to think of a third one now, and I'm totally stumped. You know what? I got one. Ridiculous boxes, right?
Yeah.
On watches, like They cost a fortune to ship. If you're selling them, they cost even more. I have a small apartment in New York. I can't store.
Do you know who's the guiltiest of this?
Omega?
Yeah. Have you seen when somebody buys a Speedmaster? They give you a piece of luggage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's, you know.
And they weigh a ton. And, it's just ridiculous. I got,
Funny thing is, when you buy a Rolex, and it's like a steel one, they make you feel poor because the box is this big.
Right.
Then you buy a two-tone and it's that big. It's finally when you buy a President, they give you the big frickin' box.
Nice.
But you spend under 20 grand, you get the poor man's box, the poor man's Rolex box.
Yeah.
Omega's like, $4,000, let's leather wrap it, make it 18 feet wide. And
I'm trying to think of good examples of packaging, and I'm a little bit stumped, but...
There's a few, actually.
I have one here. This is a micro
Oris
brand.
makes a nice watch. A nice watch box.
Where did I put it? Here we go. This is a little brand. Sorry, it's got dusty.
Oh yeah, I've seen these.
This is Hemel, right? And it's a micro brand. A friend of the channel makes this watch, and it just comes like this.
That's a fantastic package.
Not pretentious. It's.
Do you know who else does that? Nomos, a nice plywood box.
Yes, exactly. That's.
No, I'm not gonna go. I mean, it's your pet peeve.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not gonna go as far to say that I want all boxes to be this minimalist.
Yeah.
I just don't want a 2-foot box.
I agree. I don't want a coffin with my.
If you want to make it leather wrapped or mahogany, fine, but you keep it reasonable. It's a watch, it's not.
And also because I've wanted to take watches back and forth to the UK, and I can't take them. I have to ship them separately. No. It's a nightmare.
You got to get one of those watch rolls or travel boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I used to do before I had like a travel box?
Yeah.
I used to put them in socks.
Right.
I used to take one sock, put it in between the bracelet and the watch, so it wouldn't scratch the case back, and then I'd put it in another sock.
Nice.
Clean socks.
Right.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It worked for a little while.
Yeah.
Or your white watch gloves work well with that too.
Yes. Yeah.
Classier than socks.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's been a long time. It's good to be back, man. We promise we won't have you guys wait that long for another episode again. But if you guys don't know, this is TGV, of course. The link to his channel is in the description below. But of course, I'm sure you're already subscribed, and you should be. If you're not, what are you doing? Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and follow us on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram.
TGV1983.
Yeah.
Federico Talks Watches. Links in the description. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Ciao.
Take care. Fun.